welcome to the Dark Side of Soul podcast. This is Joe. I'm speaking half German.
I thought you were saying like this has been Joe.
No, I was going to say
short.
Ich bin Joe, but I said this bin Joe.
Joe-입니다. Sean입니다.
Sean입니다.
Je m'appelle
저는 Joe McPherson입니다. Hey, thank you for joining us.
Once again, welcome back.
I don't know how to say that in Klingon, though.
Oh, maybe Sharon will know. Sharon Cullen, doesn't she speak Klingon, or she knows some Klingon?
Oh no, she's into Star Wars. Anyway, I can unlike I know some survival Klingon. I only know some survival Klingon. That's all. But
you just goofed, Joe. I said, doesn't she know Klingon? You said no, she's anti-Star Wars.
I said, well, okay. I mean, yes, she's anti-Star Wars or something like that. Yes.
so yeah, she loves Star Trek. So I think she knows some Klingon.
I'm agnostic. I like both. I mean,
I love both too.
I love both, and I could ask, where's the bathroom in Klingon?
Really?
Yeah. Nuk dach o puchpat. Which we just lost a lot of our listeners just now.
Like these fucking guys are just talking horse shit again.
Yeah.
It is good though. Insa-dong.
Oh, Insa-dong. Thank you. Bringing us to topic, because I'm going to try to keep this under an hour, but it ain't happening. Yeah, we're going to finally tackle Insa-dong today. Because I've been on this kick. I'm using the podcast to answer a lot of curiosities I've always had living in Korea for almost 20 years. And Insa-dong was the first outing I ever took when I moved. I still love it's developed a lot, and we're going to be the old men shouting at clouds, but I still love the
bees in our belts.
I still love the place. It's changed a lot, but it's got a special place in my heart.
I think it's got a nostalgia for me, but I don't love it anymore. I think it's completely changed. There's that big shopping area that they put in there.
Yeah, I'll talk about it.
Yeah, the multiple floors. Yeah. That place is completely. We'll get when we get to the thing.
So Insa-dong is also a good microcosm of everything that's great and completely awful about Korea. About this great center of Korean culture, and it's a great example of how certain people destroy Korean culture and just
the downfall of Insa-dong was when they allowed Starbucks in there.
Okay, I guess so, but
started right around that time.
We'll talk about when it started going downhill. But the thing is, this is it though, is our nostalgia is misplaced because Insa-dong was for most of its existence was not Insa-dong. It was not how we thought it was.
Right.
It really was not a street of artists and art shops and antique dealers. It has a dark history.
Yes.
Stay tuned for more. Yeah, but I was talking about. I want to start with anecdotes from our old days. I mean, for 5 years at least, that was my reliable place to go to for Christmas gifts for family and friends overseas.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, you can get like the great postcards. Yeah, the scroll paintings. I got one right here. So anyone who's on camera. You can see on camera,
which you see on camera if you're a patron. Patreon.com/darksideofsoul, starting at $5. You can see our videos.
I got this scroll painting in Insa-dong around 2001. So this is over 20 years old. Still in good shape.
Oh, well, I mean, no one can see it. It's off camera. I have a bamboo painting. I got my.
And there's Yomi the White.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a bamboo painting a long time ago in Insa-dong. I still have in 2004. Yep. I still get stuff. If I had more money, I would still buy a lot of stuff there. The more I learn about Insa-dong, the more I go like, "Ooh, I really should support the dealers there and support the shops there."
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this on another episode. I don't remember which one, but where I get my incense sticks, that and the incense holder I originally bought in Korea, in like my first month in Korea, that shop is still open.
Oh, do you have a shop? Because there's also like street carts that sell incense.
No, those are all crap. Don't buy those. Those are all perfumed garbage. They're all cheap. The one shop that I go to is all organic, handmade incense, and you can get a box of 200 sticks of a type of incense called dabo, which is made with pine needles, and it's like palchanon for 200 for like 100
so 8,001 outside 8,001. I have to transfer for you.
Yeah, what did I say? Palchanon?
Yes, you did.
Oh, sorry.
It's the COVID talking. COVID makes you speak Korean.
Right.
People don't know that.
It's called now K-COVID now, right?
It's K-COVID.
Yes. That place is still open, and I went there about 2 months ago to get some more incense, and the old guy is still there. Now he can barely see. He has to have a seeing glass, and he holds it up to the calculator so he can type in. Yeah,
my grandmother had that. Yeah,
he never remembers me, which is, I'm not bummed by that, but he never remembers me. So when I go in and I ask him for the dabo, he sets up the calculator because he shows the price of the products on the calculator. Yeah. But then when he realizes I speak Korean, then he's like, oh. And I said, yeah, I've been coming here for so long. I just love you're one of the few places where I can get really good Korean incense. And incense is a thing about Korean culture that I think is not very well known. People don't realize that Korea makes extremely high quality incense. Dabo, Jingguang, and Bodium are the three great types.
I just learned this right now. I did not know that.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I'm not a big incense purveyor. I mean, I do like incense, but I did not know that.
I love it. Yeah. So I still go to the shop. But one of the things I learned about Insa-dong really early on. So I first went through my first several times. Yeah, we're in the day, and I really enjoyed the restaurants. The restaurants are really good.
Back in the day, we're going to talk. Yeah, I have a place in our notes where we're going to talk about that. But
okay,
now we can.
Oh no, that's all right. No, I'm just saying, because I went there a lot in the day. About Insa-dong, and this is what now I think it's lost with the inclusion of all these new modern things. It's lost its atmosphere. It still has character, but now it's kind of a blend of character, and the atmosphere is deadened. It's very sterile and uninteresting.
A lot of the winding narrow alleys have been bulldozed.
Right.
Yeah. You know what, Sean? I haven't started my notes yet, man, about the history.
Yeah, let's hop in, because this is.
I know we're going to this digression city. So anyway, quickly, I'm going to give you the geography of Insa-dong. Get out your maps. Okay, if you're looking at your map, it's sandwiched by Jonggak Station and Anguk stations. I would say that those are the closest stations to it. There's no station that goes directly. Well, Anguk kind of does go directly to Insa-dong.
Gate 6. Gate 6 in Anguk, it goes right to the head. Yeah, the northern head of the street.
The northern part of Insa-dong. It's kind of odd because the street itself is kind of a crooked diagonal.
Yeah.
It goes northwest to south. Northwest to southeast. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Northwest to southeast. The reason being that this is following the path of an old river, an old stream that started way up north where the Blue House is in Samcheong-dong. And if you look at a map of Seoul, you can see in the roads where this river used to go. It's really fun following this river that used to go all the way down and went through Insa-dong and emptied out into the Cheonggyecheon stream, right at Gwangjong-gyo Bridge, where I do my tour at Gwangjong-gyo Bridge. And Later on, this was designated the center of Insa-dong is considered the center of Seoul. This was the center of the Hanyang City Wall. The wall was equidistant from all parts of Insa-dong, supposedly. So anyway, early Joseon-era. Insa-dong started out, of course, it wasn't called Insa-dong back then. It was called many things back then. But it was mostly just government offices and where officials lived. It was what's called a bop dong dong, which is like a law neighborhood. These included some famous figures that lived there. But if you follow the show, like Cho Kwang-jo lived in Insa-dong. Cho Kwang-jo is just a big figure. We'll keep bringing back. Iha Jungkook and Yu Gok, they all lived in Insa-dong. But there were two major offices that were based there. One is the Chunghunbu, which is an office that investigated achievements of people who did things for the government and the royal family. You did good stuff. They investigated, make sure that, yay, it's kind of like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for people who kiss ass to the government. Yeah. And Imun and Doaso, these were places that this was they guarded thieves, and they cracked down on riots and any disturbances of the law, and they cracked down on illegal extravagant feasts. So
only
forget about having Thanksgiving. Huh?
Only the king and people with money can eat well. None of you peasants.
Yeah.
Shaggers.
We had an office set up to make sure you don't eat well. Actually, no, I think this is way back where equality, everyone had to be equal. It was just still evident today with how apartments are built, of where I'm trying to make sure that everyone had an illusion of equality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if one group is having a big giant feast, it would make everyone else, what's the word? Make their stomach hurt. That's the Korean version, Korean way of saying you're envious. Yeah. Fast forward to 18. Now this is all through the Joseon-era. It really was just a place where government officials lived, and there were those two offices. That's really what it was. And there was a stream that went down.
And I think also Jung-do-jun also lived there.
Okay.
I think they found the foundations of his house there or something like that. He wrote some poetry about that area as well at the time before.
It's a lovely area, and I'm going to tell you a little bit later, like why it's called Insa-dong. 1896, Gojong's reign. Gojong is trying really hard to make himself more important than he is, and he designated the Korean Empire, and he established a marker that designated Insa-dong as the center of Seoul. And the center of the Korean Empire, the Daehan Empire, which lasted for 4 years, I think. It was a very short time.
A little bit longer than 4 years until 1910, right?
It was an empire. It was a paper empire.
Yeah, the protectorate started in 1905, so it was kind of the real fall, and then the full annexation was 1910, so more than 4 years. But
yeah, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So we're going to move forward. This is when Insa-dong became Insa-dong. The colonial era. This is why I brought this up, because this is the dark side of Insa-dong. This is how it became an antique street. So the Japanese started creeping in, and after they beat the Russians, like the Ukrainians are doing,
just lost all of our Russian listeners.
Yeah. We love you guys. Hey, dude, I'm an American. I understand. To our Russian listeners that don't like the current regime in power, it's like I had to deal with when America wasn't popular during the certain administrations. And just saying, I understand your pain. Yeah. So during the colonial era, 1910 was when Korea was officially a Japanese colony. And so they a lot of what is currently modern municipal Seoul was developed during this time. A lot of the streets and the districts were developed at this time. And so they were combining all the neighborhoods, reorganizing everything. In 1914, they decided to combine the neighborhoods of Gwaninbang and Daesadong. Gwaninbang and Daesadong. You get it?
I get it.
Insa-dong. Gwaninbang, Daesadong. Yeah. Daesadong is interesting because that was the eastern part of what is now Insa-dong, because that's where a bunch of temples used to be. The Sa, as in Jogesa. Well, Jogesa is a different part, but anyway, we say Sa to signify that's the name of the temple. So there were two temples that used to be in the area, Humbok-sa and Wongak-sa, which you talked about in the past. Wongak-sa is what is now Tapgo Park, which is where what I call the King Joffrey of Korea converted that into his personal pleasure palace. Anyways, the great temple neighborhood, Daesadong. So it really shows the undercurrent of Buddhism that was in this area in defiance of the strong Neo-Confucian Joseon dynasty. This is a good little, I love this little push and pull of, you have all these Confucian institutions here in this area, but there's such an undercurrent of Buddhist tradition here. They were always at odds with each other. So I love this push and pull there. After the Japanese took over, the Yangban system, the aristocrats, that all collapsed, which they were all based in Bukchon up north. And so the Yangban were basically useless, but they had to live off of something. They had no skills other than growing out their pinky nails. So what they did was they just sold a lot of their family hand-me-downs. It was basically yard sales. They would do yard sales, and what became Insa-dong. They did yard sales in Insa-dong, and that was the first origins of it being a place known for antiques. Was the Yangban selling off their family treasures. And then when the Japanese started getting more involved, the Japanese antique dealers started establishing shops in Insa-dong, Myeongdong, and Chungmuro. And these are really not really antiques, but the Japanese they were looting a lot of temples and palaces and selling them in the antique stores. And since Insa-dong was the closest to Gyeongbokgung Palace, it was closest to a lot of the antiques that they were looting. So Insa-dong became the designated antique area because that's where the Japanese were looting everything and selling it. And that's how Insa-dong got to be known as the Antique Street.
So let's go shopping in Insa-dong, everyone.
Yeah, it's how it became the Antique Street. That's where they were looting everything and selling it. Yeah. So and Chungmuro and Myeongdong, that's where a lot of the Japanese were at the time. The colonial Japanese were living and everything, so the rents were going high in the area. Insa-dong was still part of the old north of the Cheonggyecheon, which meant that it was not well developed, didn't have, great electricity and sewage and everything. And all the roads are kind of winding because they follow the paths of rivers. They're not like straight grid patterns. If you look at a map, you'll notice that a lot of the roads north of the Cheonggyecheon are kind of curvy and winding because they follow the paths of old streams. And the ones south of it are kind of gridlocked, kind of like a grid, because the Japanese developed it there. The Myeongdong and Chungmuro, Ujiro, all those places. Those were modernized. So Insa-dong was still kind of part of the old poor Seoul, but that's where the antique dealers were. Anyway, Korea, Japanese left after 1945. There was a Korean War. And on the next history I could find was 1960s and 1970s. That's when the Japanese antique shops peaked. Now, yeah, these are still owned by Japanese. But there were incidents in the late 70s that kind of moved a lot of people away. One was this incident about some fake old book painting. So there's a lot of, it's also got to be known for a lot of corruption. And even when I first came to Korea, I was told not to buy the antiques because they were fakes. Turns out, yes and no. But anyway, so there are crackdowns about it, and someone, the president of the Korean Folk Artists Association, was wanted by the prosecution for being involved in a case of a fake antique book he was selling. He was trying to get rid of the book as for evidence, and so he tried to set fire to his office, and he fled. And then he went on the roof of this building and filled beer bottles with gasoline and made Molotov cocktails. At 5:40 in the morning, went on the roof and threw the Molotov cocktails through the window. It's an Insa-dong. So that incident happened in 1978. A year later, there was a guy. He had a production company, and he was failing in business. He had 50 million won in debt, which is a lot of money even now. Way a lot of money back then. His name was Park Chol-ung. He wanted to make money, and so he figured out the best way to make money was to kidnap someone. So he was walking down the antique alleys of Insa-dong, and he came across a place that was called Gumdang. Now, Sean, maybe you could help me with that. Gum means gold.
Gold, yeah.
Gold.
In this context, it very likely means gold. Yeah. The character gum.
Yeah.
The Chinese character gum can mean money as well. But
yeah. So the guy said, "Well, there's gold in the name, so must be rich." So he took down the phone number, called the owner, said, "Hey, man, I got these priceless scrolls. I really want to sell them to you. Meet me at this place." So the owner goes and meets him at this place. The guy kidnaps him by a knife point, ties him to a chair, and says, "Hey, how much money you got?" The guy says, "I don't have that much, but I can arrange for my wife to meet you here. I can arrange for her to bring 5 million and a rare antique." He goes, "Okay, do that. Call your wife." So he calls his wife, says, "Come over here, and I'm being kidnapped. Bring 5 million won in a rare antique." He did it, and he goes, "Okay, I did it." He goes, "Okay, great. I'm going to kill you now." So he kills him. Dumb. Dude's wife. Yeah. So he killed Mr. Jung. His wife, Mrs. Lee, comes over. She says, "I have the money in the rare antique." He goes, "Great, thanks. I'm going to strangle you now." So he strangles her to death.
Crazy.
Sometime later, Park Chol-ung's wife discovers her body in this abandoned house that I think is on a property or something, and found an accomplice, found some other person. I don't know. People really just had Jung back then. They just really just like, oh, you found a dead body? Oh, I'll help you bury it. So they buried Mrs. Lee and then created a nice garden on top of her. Landscaped. So, the the police were already knew that this kidnapping was happening. Of course, they didn't get there in time before they were killed, but they did an entire investigation. They were using this as an excuse to do a crackdown on all the crooked antique dealers in Insa-dong. So it was really killing Insa-dong's reputation. It got so bad that an antique dealer committed suicide, and it was like 70 people were prosecuted for different things in the antique street. So they're just a major shakedown of the antique dealers. Because of this, a lot of the old antique dealers disappeared. And in their place, art shops popped up. And from these art shops popped the sparked the creation of an exhibition hall. And this is when artists and art lovers started coming in. This is the Renaissance of Insa-dong. This is when I think it sounds like it hit its apex. This is when all the good, the folk artists we all know them, the albums you and I pine over, they were all hanging out there. This is when Pima Gold, which we will talk about later, was really hitting a different type of Renaissance as well. It's just this the romantic soul that people are trying to preserve. If you go to certain areas in Jungno 3ga, Jungno 3ga, you will find little pockets where they're trying to preserve what Insa-dong was like in the 1980s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some of our friends and colleagues who were here in the 80s, they have a lot of good memories of the place at the time.
So when the artist came, tea comes. Tea follows artists for some reasons. So we got traditional tea shops, and we got traditional restaurants that would cater to them. Mm-hmm. And you had something about Chun Sang-byeong, right?
Yeah. So talking about tea shops and artists. So when I first came to Korea, I was kind of just picking up any book that was about Korea. I would pick it up, and I think the first book of poetry I picked up was by a man named Chun Sang-byeong and Chun Sang-byeong. And he was kind of called the people's poet, and he's linked to Insa-dong in a very significant way that really solidified my love for the place initially when I came to Korea. So, with some background on him, he was born in 1930 in Japan, and that was during the occupation period. Now, when he was 15, his family moved back to Korea. And
Liberation,
he published
45.
Right.
Exactly, I can do math.
And he published his first poems in 1949. And that was published in a review called the Mounier Review. And then he attended Seoul National University in 1952. Good school. At that time, he started branching off into other forms of writing, started especially essays. In 1967, now he was a fairly well-known poet and author. He was kind of well respected. But in 1967, he was kidnapped.
Being a well-respected artist in 1967, South Korea is kind of like being a well-respected artist in 2022 Moscow, or a pre-code a director, film director in Hollywood. Pre Hays Code. So so we did. I don't think they kidnapped them in America. They just bring them to McCarthy.
Well, they ruined their careers. So, but they didn't. They weren't kidnapped. It's not as far as I know. It might be a case. I'm not sure.
Roy Cohn would just go after them. Yeah.
But anyway, Chun was kidnapped by the National Security Agency, which is the government. He was brought to their headquarters, tossed in the basement, in their cellar. And I think we talked a little bit about like where they would torture these people, right, in the previous episode.
I'm not sure where they did it in 67, but I do know where they did it in 82.
Okay. It may have been a similar place, but I'm not sure. So the reason he was kidnapped by the National Security Agency is because they had found an artist who was a suspected communist spy.
Mm-hmm.
They got hold of his address book, and in this person's address book, they found Chun Sang-byeong. And so they kidnapped him. They thought he was in cahoots with the communist spy. They started torturing him. The two biggest types of torture, or the most consistent types of torture, were water torture, which is awful, absolutely terrible. Waterboarding, or just the water, dripping water on your head for hours and hours at a time. The most painful torture he suffered was electric shocks to his genitals.
Ouch!
Which left him infertile. He wasn't able to have children after that.
Oh man!
And they did this for 6 months to Chun.
Wow! Shocked his balls for 6 months.
Yeah, consistently trying to get information out of him. They found nothing.
You get a resistance after 6 months of them shocking your balls.
Yeah, well, but he wasn't involved in anything.
I know. I'm just
so
he must have had after that. I mean, it was infertile, but he had balls of steel after that.
Well, I don't know. So
he was surprised he wasn't a superhero after that.
He was eventually released, and but he suffered trauma. He had really bad trauma.
Of course he did.
Yeah. And he started drinking. He became an alcoholic. And then by 1971, he disappeared. No one had any idea where he went. His friends looked for him for months, couldn't find him. And they just figured he died somewhere. They gave him up for dead. And so
like
they...
my cat.
So, yeah. So they published a collection of his work, kind of as a memorial collection of his poetry, and that was it. They thought he was gone. Wow. Months later, though, they found out he was alive.
Oh, unlike my cat. Okay,
he was in an asylum in Seoul, and when he was in the asylum, he only could remember two things: he knew his name, and he knew that he was a poet. That was it. He had no recollection of anything else. But now he had become completely childlike.
Yeah.
And so he was being cared for in this kind of municipal asylum. One of his friend's sister, a younger sister named Mok Soon-ok, started visiting Chun, and she came daily. She came every day, and she started helping him to kind of get better, to get him back on his feet. But she realized that as he was getting better and he was getting to the point where he could leave the asylum, there was no way that he was able to care for himself, because he was just too much like a child. He couldn't cook. He couldn't do anything. So this poet, this Seoul University graduate, had become completely unable to care for himself. Yeah. So she had so much compassion and love for him, she decided to marry him in 1972. So she could live with
my
him.
Wife.
To care for you, please care for me.
Yeah.
So she decided to marry him and care for him, and they did. They got married. They moved to Uijeongbu, which is everyone doesn't know this, kind of to the northeast of Seoul.
Budae-jjigae.
But of course, money was a problem, because he couldn't work, and she needed to work.
She was a woman.
So their friends. So just listen, Joe.
Sorry.
So their friends gave them some money to help her set up a cafe in Insa-dong.
Oh.
And they called it Kwichon. Kwichon, sorry.
Oh, back to heaven?
Kwichon, which means back to heaven.
Ah.
And Chun, like Cheongguk, right? So Kwichon, which was the title of one of Chun's poems. So so that's where they that's how they survived. And Chun would be there. He would sit in a corner, kind of in the same chair every day. He'd welcome people in, even if it was crowded. He's like, "There's room over here. There's plenty of space. Come sit down." Inviting people in. His health started to decline kind of by the late 80s, early 90s. And he passed away on April 28th, 1993. Mm-hmm. But his wife continued to operate the cafe. Mm. And as far as I know, it's still there today, unless it's become a victim of COVID.
And there are antique and art exhibitions, traditional music performances. In 1988, the government proclaimed it Traditional Culture Street. And around a decade later, 1999-2000, that's when the main road was designated a pedestrian walkway. It was widened, and it was made to discourage cars half-heartedly because the cars still go through there. And I've seen pictures of how it was in the late 90s compared to the 2000s. I don't know. Sean, have you seen pictures
of
Insa-dong?
Of which era? When?
Of the late 90s compared to the 2000s when they started designated it as a cultural area?
Maybe, but not that I can remember.
I honestly think it was kind of gaudy back then. It had banners going across the street all the time, everywhere. Just banners all over the street, like advertisements. It was all advertisements up and on the street, just banners crossing the street, and they cleaned all that up so they could focus on the buildings themselves. I'm pretty sure I have seen photos of it at that time, but it's nothing that's sticking in. It's kind of tacky. Okay, that's where it looked tacky. It looked tacky like that.
I'll say quick too, because you mentioned the Jangsung J. I didn't know they did that at the time. For anyone who's not sure, Jangsung are the Korean totems, the totem poles, and J means ritual. So
I knew when I said that would electrify your genitals. I knew it.
So yeah, those are like the village guardian posts, or the guardian posts, they can call them, and they you can see them still all around Korea. So the rituals were designed for prosperity and protection and things like that. Guardianship. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So lots of things were happening at this time. This is one of the there were two giant renaissances, we would say, in modern Korea: the 88 Olympics and the 2002 World Cup. And you can see a lot of this stuff happen, like the designated cultural street in 1988, 2002 World Cup time. Korea's first cultural district is designated Korea's first cultural district by the Culture and Arts Promotion Act. This when they start cracking down, they were trying to restrict the types of businesses,
right, that
could be there.
This is big news. Yeah.
They had the rules like the signs could be only in Korean Hangul. So I would say, I know you, and I kind of agree with you that the Starbucks opening in Insa-dong was the beginning of the gentrification.
I think it allowed other shops to come in,
but they were more respectful compared to the other shops that came in, including Korean shops that moved in. Yeah,
that big, gaudy, ugly, multi-floored shopping area.
We're going to talk about that. Well, I'm going to talk about it now. Okay, so we're going to talk about today. Yeah, so galleries, calligraphy shops, traditional shops, they're all being replaced by things like cosmetic stores. The one of the buildings Sean is complaining about, shouting at the clouds about, is Ssamziegil. This building that was built in 2004. Obviously bulldozed a lot of beautiful alleyways and beautiful buildings to be made. It's built by the fashion company Ssamziegil, which I've never heard of. And after they built it, they went bankrupt. So it's now owned and operated by a company called Core Value.
Oh, good.
I'm saving it for that.
Yeah.
Also, Ssamziegil's fame is known for the famous poop bread, which is crap, literally. Now, one thing I did like about Insa-dong was it was a good central location for street food. And I did notice in my years a giant change in street food there. Go back, if you go to Zen Kimchi's channel on Insa-dong, Zen Kimchi's channel on YouTube, go way, way, way back, and you will find my Insa-dong video, which is very low res. I was shooting on a small camera at the time with very low computer memory, and I actually made the video before YouTube existed. Yeah, but I posthumously uploaded it. You would see how Insa-dong looked in 2004, and you will see that the street food was bondegi. It was silkworm larva. It was dried squid. It wasn't anything sweet. It wasn't anything fun. The only thing sweet was like yut. That was the only thing you could get. And that's in the video is yut.
Right.
This guy's cutting the yut. Yeah.
Yeah. Yut mogul.
Yeah, which is rice taffy. Yeah.
Right. Good stuff. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I like yut. It just pulls out all of my fillings in my mouth. Yeah.
You got to eat it in small pieces and let it dissolve in your mouth.
Do not chew it. Just let it dissolve. Especially if you have braces. Do not.
Yeah. Or if you're middle-aged or older and your teeth aren't what they used to be.
Yeah.
If you have to cut apples to eat them, do not chew yet.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Also, they have nostalgic snacks there, which they still have today. And the famous street food that has been there forever from the beginning is a very touristy dragon's beard candy.
Good stuff. I like that a lot.
You like it?
That a lot. I like it a lot. Yeah, I love it. I think it's great.
Dragon's beard candy. This is magic. Oh, so great.
Is it 16,000 strands when they're done?
Something around that. It is. There's some math in there. It's kind of like how you make noodles. It is fascinating to watch. It's a fermented honey disc, a hard disc of honey, and they take a wooden dowel and they form a hole in that. When they put their thumbs in the hole and they stretch it, and when they stretch it, technically you have 2 lines. Then they fold it over, stretch it again. You have 4 lines, and take it, stretch it again. You have 8 lines. Now,
keeps doubling, right?
With honey, it's going to stick together. So every time they stretch it, they got to dip it in starch, usually potato starch. So by the end, you got something with 18,000 strands of honey covered in potato starch. And then they wrap it around some nuts. And
traditionally nuts. You get all kinds of ones now. There's like chocolate and stuff. Those aren't as good because it's really shitty chocolate. You got to get the traditional one. Yeah. And don't they sometimes use, like, instead of honey, they use corn syrup, or it's a blend to save money?
It's fun to watch. That's what I like. Yeah. It's fun to watch. I bring my guests there, my VIP guests. They're interested in it. Sure, as I go for it, enjoy it.
Yeah. And like I said, I like it. I think it's great.
Because my VIP guests were they saw it, they were like, this isn't that good. Do you want this? Here, I give it to you, Joe. Give it to your daughter.
Really?
Like, yeah. They didn't like it.
Give it to me.
But also, I mean, okay, over the years, Insa-dong along with Myeongdong have been the center for street food trends. I've noticed over the years. They both have been experimenting with a lot of street foods. One of the famous ones that have come out is the Insa-dong hotdog. I love the Insa-dong hotdog.
Me too. Yeah. I brought my sister there, and she fell in love with hotdog. Yeah.
But the Insa-dong hotdog is different. The hotdog is like a donut with this brown sugar caramel walnut filling. In the best way, it is deep fried or it's semi-fried. Do not get the dried version, the healthy version, because it's bullshit. Because why?
So much better when it's hot.
Don't eat healthy candy. Because it's supposed to be an indulgence. Anyway, so what they do in Insa-dong is they infuse cornmeal in their dough. It's a yeast dough.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what makes it so unique. It's this cornmeal. And so it really does has like it's like a cornbread donut.
Right.
It's delicious. It's nutty.
It's great. It's great. Yeah.
That was the first place in Seoul they started selling Chun style chicken skewers, which is like raw leg meat chicken cooked over charcoal flames.
Yeah, right.
Because usually you get chicken skewers in other parts of Seoul. It's just like this, it's just rubbery stuff that has no flavor. It's dipped in sauce. But the ones in Insa-dong actually have like smoke flavor to them.
And off the end, like you said, they're off the bone. So they're really
I just
nice,
did a tour this past week, and one building has already been torn down. That was there last week.
Was it Ssamziegil? Was Ssamziegil torn down?
I don't know. It's the one with the really bad pizza place was in it.
Right.
All right. So I'm going through quickly some history. 2013, a law finding non-traditional businesses in Insa-dong was passed, but no one enforces it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's like a list of types of businesses you're supposed to open in Insa-dong. If you open a business that's not supposed to do it, you get a fine. But
why would they approve a business that shouldn't be there in the first place? Like, it's such a weird.
But this is toothless. It's toothless law.
Yeah.
Businesses that were established before 2013 were able to get around it. So if like you had a business that was started in 2012 and it doesn't make paper goods or arts or anything like that, you can get around it. And a lot of these traditional businesses, this is why you see a lot of places that sell scarves and keychains and socks out front, but they have the more traditional items in the back. That a lot of those businesses they're doing that to get around the law. But that started like there's a quote that people say the easiest thing to buy in Insa-dong is a counterfeit made in China. 2009, there was a really bad movie called Insa-dong Scandal. And I'm saying bad as in even the Korean press gave it like the highest was 3 out of 5 stars. I
know the movie, but yeah, I didn't even know what that's about.
No, it just got the merchants angry. It's just about some type of counterfeits being sold in Insa-dong. But it started perpetuating this reputation of Insa-dong being full of counterfeits. Gradually, gentrification, just people started leaving. 2017, I read an article, the Yeongjong Collection Watch Shop, which was established in 1965. They closed and moved, strangely enough, to Gangnam because of high rents in Insa-dong.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. Moving to Gangnam because the Insa-dong's rents were too high. Yeah, I know.
Weird.
But the son who was raised in the shop, he inherited the store, and he said just Insa-dong had gotten too commercialized. Yep. He said the reputations of the shop selling antiques have declined, partly because of that movie. But yeah, too many people. You get tired of people coming in the shop and say, "Is this fake or is this real?" He just got really tired of people asking that. The article found that 42.6 of the stores had nothing to do with traditional Insa-dong properties. I mean, that didn't really fit the broad definition, but if you want a more narrow definition of like calligraphy tools and antiques, only 39.3% shops actually had those. This is 2017. It's much worse now. A lot of the aging merchants are retiring, and also when like a really long-standing shop closes, the other ones follow. It's kind of like you're working at a company and you know a person that's been with that company a long time just up and quit. A lot of people follow them and quit with them. Korean, they called it the chain of anxiety.
So I'm worried about my favorite little incense place. I don't know. I think once that man retires, he's probably it's going to be it for it.
There was one near Sancheon. Sancheon is the famous Buddhist temple cuisine place that does shows, which is okay. I'm not a big fan of Sancheon, but
it's fine.
Yeah, but there was a Buddhist ingredients shop near there that I loved. It's gone. It's long gone, but it was so cool. I would take people in there, and they have like all these weird medicinal ingredients in there. I say weird, but okay, exotic medicinal ingredients in there. It's fun to look at. And I know why it closed, because no one bought anything in there. No tourist wants to buy a bag of pine needles. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah. And anyone who's in the market for that stuff won't buy it in Insa-dong. Yeah.
But it was cool that it was there, and I'm really missed that.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good tea shops just behind Sanchon as well. Yeah. And if anyone does go to Sanchon, go when they have a performance. I don't know if they do performances.
Yeah, go. Anymore. Yeah, they still do the performances, and go when they have performances. Don't go for authentic Buddhist typical cuisine. Go to Baru for that.
Baru is really good, but you got to or it's better to make a
Baru, you have to make a reservation. Okay, the trick with Baru is they're mostly booked during lunch, but not during dinner.
Right.
And I recommend Baru. Baru is good. It is super vegan, but delicious.
It's really good. And they'll explain to you what you're eating.
Baru, they'll explain everything. It's very seasonal. They change the menu all the time, but always go when they have the posot tangsiuk. It's shiitake mushrooms, deep fried and tossed. Oh, it's kanpungi. Yeah, it's tossed in a spicy sweet sauce. Oh, so good. Oh, it puts any fried mushrooms from Applebee's to shame. Yeah. Anyway, it's so good. Anyway, I love Baru. But that is also off the Insa-dong. It's in the Insa-dong area. It's right across the street from Jogye-seo Temple.
Right.
In this concrete building that's across the street.
Right.
On the 5th floor.
I do think there's a meditation center in that building as well.
There's other stuff. They're always changing what's in there, because on the 2nd or 3rd floor there was a lunch buffet that was Buddhist temple cuisine as well. And I used to go there quite frequently. It's $5. Anyway, in 2019, it started getting really a parody of itself. The giant gargantuan building called Hello Insa-dong. That was, oh God, it's like every government project thrown together, every moronic government project thrown together. Then even the name Hello Insa-dong.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Seoul.
Oh God. It's like, we are just crass tourist commercialism right there in a concrete building. I've been in there. It's a lot of it's tourist honeypots, photo zones where you can put your face through a cardboard cutout of someone in a hanbok. Those shops in there, some of them are sort of interesting, but it's just franchise shops. There's some touristy museums in there. It's just, they tore down a beautiful section of alleyways for this place. I'm getting upset about this one. It's bland. No one goes in there too. It's empty.
Yeah, this is because it's not interesting.
No.
Yeah. And then we've said, we may have already said on this show, but we've said on other shows, I'm sure, that the real modern dark side of Seoul is gentrification. Definitely.
I mean, yeah, if you want to be dark about that. Yeah.
Gentrification's horrible. And it often starts in one way, where it'll be a place like Insa-dong, where it will, like, you'll get some young person with, they have some money, they buy an old hanok, they turn it into a pasta restaurant for some weird
I know.
reason.
Don't do anything traditionally Korean.
Right.
How much in Insa-dong? There's like 10% that is actually Korean in Insa-dong.
Right.
Everything else is Koreans trying to pretend to be foreigners.
Yeah, and then the place doesn't do well because the food is not very good.
It's not that good because it's cultural appropriation.
And the very idea of opening a spaghetti restaurant in a hanok just is not appealing.
It's dumb.
It might be interesting at first, but then you go there and then you eat there and you're like, and this isn't very good.
It's the equivalent of "Don't worry, be happy." It's a gimmick. It was popular on the charts for 2 weeks, and then everyone forgot about it.
But then the place is shut down, and then they have to sell it. And who buys it? Starbucks. So the beginning of gentrification is what we see happening in places like Insa-dong.
Well, even worse than that, because in order to make these places, they have to gut out the place. So the point was when they go out of business, that building cannot be saved, so they have to raise it.
Yeah, and isn't the Dunkin' Donuts that looks like a Hanok? Isn't that in Insa-dong?
I haven't checked that one out. I haven't seen that one.
Some dumb play. Who gives it? Go eat some shitty donuts in a destroyed Hanok.
The only really Korean place I've seen in Insa-dong that is a place that existed before the trend. It was a tea shop.
Yes.
There's a really good pappingsu.
I used to love walking through Insa-dong.
Yeah, when it was dark and scary and it had cats jumping over the roofs and stuff. It was really great.
When I first started doing the tour, I would, that was still part of my route. I would go through the darker alleys, and people loved it. And it took maybe 6 months for it to just brighten up. And I was like, and that was one of the biggest catalysts for me to change my route. Yeah,
well, me too. I mean, it started to, and even worse is like one of the last underground gay bars.
Right.
Was based there. It's now, but actually the restaurant that replaced it seems really interesting. You don't know about this, Sean. Basak Jokbal.
Basak crunchy
jokbal? Yes! It's deep fried pig's feet.
That sounds good.
I know. It never replaced the gay bar. It sounds pretty good. I want to check it out.
That sounds good. I like jokbal. Jokbal's great.
I love it. I know. So this is where I'm torn. It's like, I hate what's happening to it, but then they come out with stuff like this. And there's another place where they made a North Korean eatery, which is super interesting.
Yeah.
But there's this one really bad Italian place that finally went out of business because it's shit. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, gentrification.
It's gonna be the victim of its own success one day, very soon.
Yeah, it'll be Starbucks and 7-Elevens and all that kind of stuff.
So I should talk about 2013, the Insa-dong fire. Gotta go through that. One of the last parts of Piedmont Gold near the Jongno Tower, February 17th, 2013 at 8 p.m. Caught fire. The fire lasted 1.5 hours. 11 buildings and 23 stores were destroyed. There were no casualties, even though 6 people were treated for smoke inhalation, but no one died. 66 fire engines were mobilized because of Central Seoul, but only 6 to 8 of them actually went into service. Actually put out the fire. The rest were just sitting there watching.
Doing what? Good job, boys.
Yeah. The reason was these alleys are very, very narrow. And Insa-dong actually had special fire engines called alley type fire engines, which were modified vans. But they're really meant to protect cultural properties like, pagodas and stuff. Mm-hmm. They didn't have that much water in them. So what they did was they would just like shoot some water and like, okay. And they ran off. It's kind of like, whipping it out and peeing on the fire and then going like, okay, I did my bit.
Fire's out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but anyway, this has been a trend. This is not the first time or the last time. For 20 years, there were a lot of small fires happening in that area, which you might have noticed, Sean, is like a lot of buildings in the area have this kind of black coal look to them. It's from smoke damage from all these fires that have been happening over the years. Mm-hmm. So this one, a lot of people believed it was a propane gas explosion from this longstanding restaurant. There it was not, but because it was closed that day. No, it wasn't closed that day. I take that back. Okay, I'm going all over. Let me go around. So the Jongno Gongpyeong Shopping Street Countermeasure Committee Chairman Lee Sung-chul, that's a great name right there. Jongno Gongpyeong Shopping Street Countermeasure Committee. He speculated that this was arson for reasons of development. Development. Because In the past, Seoul has been known, and we're going to cover this in future episodes. Seoul has been known to hire thugs to commit arson to clear out areas so that rich fucks could build their buildings. People criticize him for this because he had little evidence to back it up, and it didn't make much economic sense to really just burn down these old buildings to build a expensive building, especially with the potential human costs. And besides, these buildings have been neglected by the government for years. They weren't really updating it. They weren't inspecting them that much. Ironically, he was kind of correct, half correct. It was arson, but it wasn't for development reasons. 50-something-year-old man named An. He was under investigation for setting a fire to a tent in Doksugung Palace. They found out that he was drinking on the first floor of the Yukni restaurant, which is that famous restaurant I was talking about. And he felt like setting fire to the second floor of the staff changing room. And after he set the fire, he went to the building across from it and took a picture. And then later on, a few weeks later, when he was arrested for setting fire to a tent in Doksugung Palace, the police looked at his phone and said, "Hey, we saw your pictures. We think he set the fire to this one place." And he goes, "Yeah, I did." And he said, his quote was, "Our Republic of Korea is a garbage paradise. I was told to clean it thoroughly, even if I sacrifice myself." He was then admitted to a mental hospital. So, all right, we're going to wrap up. I'm going to talk about things we miss. Sean, I'm not sure if you really want, I mean, you have some stuff.
Yeah, like there are, I miss the way Insa-dong used to be. And I think that's it. There are some restaurants there's tea shops that I really used to love, and they're gone. Mostly because of Ssamziegil. I think they were in they were through that area.
I know Insa-dong Chachip, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah. There are several. You just have to explore Insa-dong. You have to go in all the nooks and crannies of Insa-dong and you didn't really, it was always good to do that. But now if you want to see anything that's really interesting in Insa-dong, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really you can spend a whole afternoon in Insa-dong. Don't just walk up and down and get some dragon beard candy and some blowjob ice cream and
that's all
leave.
gone. Yeah.
Oh, is that gone? No.
Yeah.
But go in every single alleyway and look around.
Yeah. Go off the main street.
Yeah. And plan to go there for lunch. And if you see something that's a restaurant that looks interesting, go there for lunch the next day.
Especially if there's no Japanese or English on the menu out front.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's a sure sign. If there's Japanese on the menu, it's not a good restaurant.
It's catering to tourists. So
yeah,
the ones that are deeper back were always a little bit more interesting, but now that they're kind of the only places that are interesting in Insa-dong.
Yeah. There was one restaurant I loved near the Indian place I was talking about. They're in that wide street, and it was a 3-story restaurant. The interior is like the type of it has all the bric-a-brac, like weird farming instruments on the inside, trying to look like an old inn. And I love it because they have the dukbegi meon gabichim. The bubbling, spicy, stewed ribs in a single serving. And I remember I took my family there right before my wedding. They loved the place. And they had a giant, in places that serve naengmyeon, they have the soup and an anti-griddle. It's like a bowl that's chilled, electronically chilled, like a refrigerator. So that you keep the naengmyeon icy. So they did this with the dongdongju. So they had. That
sounds great.
They kept, but it was not only dongdongju, it was ginseng dongdongju.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So it was like this dirt tasting, which I love. I love ginseng dongdongju, and you just get this. You get it served in a crock with chunks of ice in it, enough to sink the Titanic. Beautiful stuff. I love that place. Gone. It's a coffee shop. Another place was a jumak that Rabba Seo introduced me to one time. Another makgeolli jeep, and they served the makgeolli in these big bowls, but their specialty was they would put different flavored powders on top of the makgeolli.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so the one we ordered, they put pine needle powder on top. Yeah. There's another one. We're going to talk about that Pimakko episode. I'm going to go more in detail, but Pimakko Jujeontown, I'll talk about on our Pimakko episode. The Buddhist temple food and medicine shop I've talked about before too. One section, I want to find some videos of this. It's what I call Bamboo Corner. Southern part of Insa-dong, near where they park all the carts at night, where the baseball the baseball cages are. There's this little pocket where they have like bamboo on the outside of it, and they would have little things going on. And many times, like I'd go there and they had a taekyon tournament.
Oh yeah. I know exactly. I was at a taekyon tournament there once. Were we there at the same time? I wonder.
Possibly.
But, yeah. Well, unless they.
I took a photo of myself with the winner.
Okay, I didn't stay for the whole thing.
So many cultural things in one place. They would have parades there. It's in my video too. Yeah, they would have parades of Yangban being sent off to execution.
Yeah, I love that. That was awesome. Anything that shows the elites getting screwed over, I was like, I like it. I like that. Yeah,
they used to do that. It was so great. I wish they would come back with that. Okay, so I do want to list the things that we don't recommend. There are negative part. I did say before Sancheon. I'm not a big fan of Sancheon, the Buddhist temple cuisine.
Unless there's a performance. If you go and there's no performance, just don't go. Yeah. There's better Buddhist food in Seoul.
Yeah,
there's better Buddhist food right there and
right there. In that area. There's better vegetarian food in that area. If you're not even the Buddhist food, it's just better vegetarian food.
Yeah.
We've already said Ssamziegil and Hello Insa-dong. Yeah, they're not worth it.
There's nothing there. Like, I mean, people will go see it, I guess. But I can't imagine anyone very serious about tourism recommending that as a must-see place.
No, it's the people who listen to Top 40 radio and get their fashion ideas from USA Today. It's the most basic place.
Yeah. Nobody I know who works in tourism, who's part of the tourism industry itself, recommends places like that.
This is bland. It's basic. And you
can go to
the poop bread too is not good.
And the issue with me is that you can see places like that back home.
Yeah.
So it's like people come to Korea and they're like, I want to go to, I want to spend my whole time in Korea at nightclubs and Hongdae. Like, why would you want to do that? Or you come to Korea and it's like, I want to go eat some.
No, okay. No.
I want to eat some hamburgers.
I will diverge. Okay, yeah, I take that. I will diverge with you on that one because there's a difference in Korean nightclubs and the nightclubs we have in America.
But you wouldn't want to make that your trip. There's not.
No, do recommend things we do recommend. Let's finish with something positive. Things we do recommend. I do recommend. This is one on the main strip. It's one of the few things. The only thing on the main strip I'd recommend is Insa-dong Chachip.
I don't know if I know that.
It's one of the only places that has no English on its sign.
On the main strip?
Yeah. So if you go to koreafoodtours.com, I show you what the sign looks like and where it is. Insa-dong Chachip is a traditional tea house. I took Matt Gross from the New York Times there. He was so hungover at the time. But anyway, yeah, but I take my family there. I take people there. I still love that place. And you know what? No foreigners are in that place. And they have a little courtyard in the back. And they have this great tea menu of such a variety of teas. My favorite thing to get is the pine needle tea because it tastes like you're drinking a Christmas tree.
Yeah, I love the pine, the sonamu what's it called?
It's weird. So something eep tea. I always forget what the name is because it's not like a conventional name.
I'm
because even Koreans, I'm with Koreans and are like, oh, they're calling pine needle tea that name. Okay, that's weird. But anyway, also get that with us with the little snack set with grilled rice cakes with honey, and have that with the tea. And on the inside, it's like you sit on these traditional chairs, or you sit on the ground. You have the traditional crockware. It's a beautiful tea. The green teas are lovely as well. Try the green teas there. The music is kind of kitschy because it tends to be like Beatles music played on traditional Korean instruments.
Oh yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, it tends to be that, but it's still such a fun little pocket of peace in Insa-dong. It's a little Brigadoon in the whole place. You can find Insa-dong Chatchip. I love this place.
Yeah, and again, I'd recommend to go with that. Go in the back alleys and look for other tea shops, the ones that are
there's one I've been wanting to try that is so scary looking, as in you have to duck your head in to go inside, and it's obviously underground. It's on the northeast side.
Sold.
Yeah, you and I need to go there. Have you ever been to the Knife Gallery?
Oh yeah, years ago. It's been a long time.
This is such an unknown little treat, is the Knife Gallery,
and it's so easy to find. Like this, like it's
there's signs that say Knife Gallery, but you think but people look at it and they go, why would I want to look at knives? And it's like, that's not why you're there. That's not why you're there. Right. No, it's a very cool place. Swords. It's a sword museum.
Yeah, the sign is completely misleading. This is a good example of a very honest mistranslation. Yeah, because it's gum, or they might also be saying kal, which is knife, but they're translating knife as sword. It is kal. Gum.
I did remember it's kal. Yeah,
it's kal, and sometimes the word kal I have seen used to mean gum, sword in Korea. So it's just fun. An honest mistranslation.
It's fun because they have real swords, real knives, military, culinary, but on top of that, they have fantasy swords. They have all these swords from Lord of the Rings and such in there. So much fun.
I think they have the Master Sword as well from Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, they got all these cool like fictional swords in there. Yeah, and you go in there and it's donation only. It's like a $1 or $2 donation. You go in there. It's just fun.
Proper small museum. You give them donations. Yeah.
Yeah. What's back to heaven, Sean? What's back to heaven?
That's Kwichon. That's the Kwichon. That's the I talked about earlier on the show about the coffee shop opened by the poet and his wife.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. But so that still exists. Okay. And I also remember
I'm not sure if it survived COVID, but look for it.
We'll see. I mean, who knows? I also still recommend the Insa-dong hot dog and name stamps. If you're there, still try to buy art. And my thing is the traditional paper. I love buying that there.
Oh, hanji.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Really love it, especially if you got like real flowers like pressed into the paper. It's valuable. Yeah. So what was funny was my first time sending Christmas gifts to the family. I bought the hanji and I wrapped the gifts in the hanji. My grandmother was so impressed with this. She took it out and she framed it and put it in her living room, in her dining room. She put it in her dining room.
That's cool. Yeah.
Because I love it.
And just gorgeous.
It is frameable. The paper is frameable. It is so cheap, but it is art.
Yeah. So in a similar way, but probably less so, where like Korean incense is really an unknown aspect of Korean culture that's very high quality. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. the traditions of it and the modern way they do the incense today is something that's really unknown about Korea, unfortunately. And Hanji to a lesser degree like that. More and more people know about Hanji.
I really love it. I saw it being made. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Until next time, stay spooky.
I got to refill my whiskey.
All right. Good night.